Welcome to Frontline Conversations. We are joined today by Kavitha Kalvakuntla. Kavitha is a former MP, former MLC, daughter of former Telangana Chief Minister Kalvakuntla Chandrasekhar Rao. Over the past few years, the Delhi liquor case has haunted Kavitha. She has spent nearly 5 months in the jail, Tihar Jail, for this. On February 27th, the Rouse Avenue Court discharged all 23 accused in the Delhi liquor case. The court noted that the probe was premeditated and choreographed. We are here today to speak to Kavitha about how the Delhi liquor case upended her political and personal life and what her plans are for the future. Welcome to Frontline Conversations, Kindler.
Thank you, Aisha.
To begin with, the Delhi liquor case did not just have political ramifications but also had a lot of personal cost to you. So you have had a few days to sit with the trial courts, what the trial court observed. What are your feelings right now about that? What do you feel like?
Well, first of all, thank you, Frontline. Thank you for having me on the show. I have, from the beginning, very, very clearly said I have nothing to do with this case and I will come out clean. And the verdict today only re-emphasizes my belief in the justice system, which I have very, very confidently said every time, every possibility, every chance that I had. Not only the verdict, the observations of the Honorable Judiciary, the 600 long page judgment, which speaks about the lacunas of the so-called decorated agencies of our nation, which are supposed to go after hardened criminals, terrorists, and people who are hurting our nation. Instead, they are going after political parties, political opponents. So these observations of the Honorable Judiciary, when you look at, and they speak volumes about how the Constitution of India should be respected, how liberty once curtailed cannot be just given back of any person. These are the comments made by the Honorable Judiciary. And also this is the first time ever the judiciary has actually set an investigation on an investigation officer of a decorated agency. So it is one of its kind in many, many ways. It's a path-breaking judgment. It speaks volumes about the way cherry picking of victims, very, very selective kind of targeting, etc. Many, many comments were made by the Honorable Judiciary. So my point here is whatever we were conveying in the last 4 years to the people, saying that we are being targeted, we are being victimized to just because we are airing our political beliefs. This kind of attitude in a democracy of the union government that either you are with us or against us, that won't work, because there has to be areas, there has to be tolerance towards ideas that you don't like. That is the fundamental of any democratic country.
Federal structure of a country.
Not federal, any democracy. And we are the largest democracy in the world. What are we teaching the world? This is unbelievable, and the judiciary in that sense has put in a lot of thoughts into many people, saying that okay, so this was actually happening. This is not a political narrative, but this is what is actually happening. So immediately after the judgment, you again can see the reaction of BJP, starting from our own BJP president here in state. He's saying this is not over. There is more to come. I'm like, who are you to bloody direct a court? Are you saying that the next court is going to work in favor of your party? It doesn't work like that, right? So the arrogance of the ruling party is mind-numbing. I mean, this is not the country that we are working for. I mean, why should I leave my kids at home, work for the people? What for? This leaves many of our politicians with a lot of questions. And when you look at many kids like Umar Khalid, etc., who were picked up 5.5 years, 4 years, what kind of a country are we living in? So I know I'm not trying to create any controversy, but we do need to repair our systems. There is no doubt about it. I have suffered 5.5 months in jail, stayed away from my kids, stayed away from my family. Today the judgment is in my favor. But who's going to give me back that 5.5 months, you tell me? My son, who was a teenager then, this is 4 years back I'm talking about. my my blood pressure was shooting up above the roof, 180, 190. They had to really give me injections to control because my teenage son, who's already under exam pressure, I left him at home. I got arrested and I taken to Delhi. I was really worried about him until the other one flew in to take care of my son. So imagine if in those first 15 days, if something had happened to my son, what would I do with the judgment today, you tell me? This case particularly has caused many irreparable damages, and irreversible processes have been set. I have changed as a person. Prison changes you a lot. It is for the good that at least I am strong enough to turn that anger, turn that disappointment into working for people. I will do so, but not everybody is as strong as I am. You've seen tallest of the leaders breaking down in front of the cameras. So, what cost is democracy to be protected? You tell me, and for whom? So these are certain questions. It's not my personal agony. I'm
I
sharing.
understand. Are you reflecting on the general backsliding of constitutional and democratic values in the country right now?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. In many cases, in many issues, where what human rights are we talking about today? Oh, there's so many things happening all at once in the nation, and I think it is setting us back as a nation. We need to get hold of these agencies. We need to get hold of these systems. Make sure they work neutrally. It should not work for a person. It should work for the society. I mean, today, think about election commission. I'm just randomly sharing what comes to my mind. Can you today stand up strongly and say there is free and fair election in this nation? Unless and until people move, come back, voting masses, you're really not confident what is happening. So, election commission doesn't answer, doesn't dispel the doubts that we have as people. Why not? Why shouldn't they? So many things are there, many issues are there. I'm sorry to take.
I want to briefly get back to the case
Yes.
because it's so much about the case and about your past and future. I want to cramming one.
Yes.
Right. So, the rules Avenue Court seems to have ordered a departmental inquiry. Does it seem enough accountability? Shouldn't it extend up in the chain of command?
That's what I'm saying. Who will give me my 5.5 months time? You tell me. What if something had happened to my son? What if something had happened to anybody else's parents, sons, spouses? God knows how many people have suffered in this entire case. And what about the badnami? What about the reputational damage that I suffered as a woman? The slurs that they used against me online? Who's going to repair? Who's going to keep that modesty back of a woman? And isn't the constitution supposed to protect me? The BJP leaders till today call me names just because, false case was put on me. Now the court is saying there was no case, but who will bring all that back? What about all that online content that is floating everywhere? And these issues that we should be concerned about, not only me, I mean, to some other women also in my place.
Did you think, because you come with a fair bit of caste and class privilege, you're a daughter of former Chief Minister KCR, did you ever think you will face this extent of misogyny and sexism in Delhi? And what is happening in the Taiwan?
Let me tell you, any women in this country or in the world is by default a backward class, underprivileged person. Any women. Doesn't matter which caste you come from, which class you come from. Women are always underprivileged. Trust me. Today, why am I sitting here talking to you? Why have I been suspended from the arrest party? Why in the entire liquor case I was abused the way I was? Because I'm the only woman in the case. You should look at the content, the way they abuse me. The only thing I twisted my young son when I was being taken away to jail, I said, please don't look at online content. Please don't look at your phone. That was the only request I had because I wasn't sure how is he going to take it. So it doesn't matter. Caste privilege doesn't matter. You are a woman, you are underprivileged. That's it.
You don't think that being daughter of Mr. Case did not protect you at all?
I had to go to jail, no? Where is the protection? And they said, at least KCR Garu himself had said that they're targeting my daughter because they couldn't do anything to me. So what kind of a society are we in? You are targeting regional parties. You don't want regional parties to grow. You don't want independent voices to grow. So you target cherry pick anybody, just put them in randomly, put them in jail. So
One question about the targeting. A lot of people who be targeted by ED cases, even in Athra, join BJP. Was there any pressure on you from? Did anyone from BJP give you hint that you should just join the party and this will end?
Uh, I have never entertained that at all. They all knew my DNA is basically against BJP, so it won't work for me. Point one. Point two, when I was inside the jail, there was certainly a discussion about merging the entire VRS party with BJP, etc., which I only for also openly said so. And I resisted it very seriously. I said, whatever the damage had to happen, happened. The reputational damage is done. I am put in jail. Now, what is the point of merging or talking about truths or anything? Fight is the only way out.
Since the Rouse court, what discharged you and others, Adin Keshwala, the rupture inside your family has once again come to fore, with Mr. Kavitha saying, kind of blaming the Delhi liquor case for BRS failures in the two elections. Well, I do see that there's a lack of reflection in when he says that it was the case that caused the election. But do you not agree that the liquor case became a part of the political narrative against BRS?
See, point here is, if is it the only cause, or was it among 200 other causes? Right? So, as you rightly said, the lack of reflection is still haunting PRS party. And anybody should really look into themselves before commenting. My point is simple here. I'm a person who is suffering from this entire personal witch hunt from past 4 years. I got a relief, right? Within an hour, I see the tweet like that. I was like, don't let me be happy for an hour or a day. Tomorrow you can analyze into, what politics has happened. But no, that was not the case. So immediate tweet came in. I also reacted in a very haughty manner. But the point here is, during the SLD elections, since you live here, the major issue was on various other things. Of course, after my arrest in the parliament elections, this played out to be a larger role. There is no doubt about it. But if PRS is only trying to blame this entire case as in me in person, I don't think that is right.
Exactly. So after the elections, just even before the Lok Sabha elections began, so you were put into Tihar. So you spent 5 months in Tihar, you came out of Tihar. There was a brief lull in your activity, political activity. You took, well, some rest. So, but then once you started campaigning, or I don't know what to call it, but once you became politically active again, there was speculation that your family, the close quarters, did not like you being politically active again. Was there any truth to that speculations?
Well, once I suffered severe weight loss, a lot of health problems came in when I was inside the jail. So after I came out, I took rest for 3 months. Then I started resumed my political activity, which I was anyway an active politician even before going to the jail. I was continuously working for the BC 42% reservation cause. I wanted to continue it. I started the work. They did not as much say that don't go out, but the party simply stopped supporting me in any manner. As in, you can look at the entire social media activity of BRS party during that time after I resumed my political activities. I am wearing the BRS party flag and bearing that flag going around at least half of Telangana I tour, but absolutely zero support from the party. I didn't understand, but I was doing my bit anyway because I'm not a person who will sit at home now while the people are suffering. So the promise of 42% was very close to my heart, BC reservation. So I started working for that. I anyway was working before that, so I resumed that activity. There were certain flashpoints in the party. They did not support me, that is for sure.
So when you said they didn't support you, did they want you to retire, ease into retirement sort of?
They didn't say anything in open, but they did not support my activity as well.
But you did continue, as you said. You were touring the districts, and then eventually the suspension happened, and then you resigned from the party and from the MLC post.
See, I always believed that I was going to come out clean because I know I'm not connected in any way. I did whatever the authorities wanted me to. I cooperated to the fullest extent, and I knew I was innocent. If only the party had believed me so much, I don't think they would have not supported me in my activity, because it was party activity that I was doing. And when they suspended me, yes, it was a direct insult for me, because I worked for the party for past 20 years. My blood, my sweat, my time with my kids, everything went into building the party. If you see, if not too much, everybody has their role in building an institution, and I certainly was a part of it, is what I would like to believe. And when I was suspended, I really felt very, 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 very insulted. I said, the party gave me an MLC. There is 3 years left to it. I could have retained it. There is nothing stopping me. But I said, I'm not going to have this. It is not ethical. So I resigned from the MLC post and the party as well.
And get to your contributions to BRS in a bit. I wanted to focus on what happened since your resignation. Since your resignation, you have accused Mr. Harish Rao and others of corruption, of arrogance. You have accused that, that has cost the party the elections, right? But you were part of the party for 10 years while it was in power, while the corruption and the arrogance were taking shape. Did you look away, or did you just get along? Like, what was happening? What were your thoughts when, because now you say in hindsight there was corruption, but what were your thoughts?
No, not hindsight. I was flagging these corruption issues. I was flagging issues like not having enough women representation, quite vocally in the diocese as well. I spoke about Kaleshwaram issues inside the party. As a result of that, Harish Rao was not given irrigation minister the second term. I flagged these issues to my leader. See, when you are in an institution, first procure whatever discrepancies or whatever issues that come to your notice, you basically send it up the chain, right? I spoke to my father, spoke to my brother. There were a lot of issues that came to my notice. I was constantly reporting it. I've seen an apathy to take any kind of decisions, or only in case of Harish Rao, they did not repeat the irrigation portfolio to him. And I'm openly saying this. It is only my father and I know what I had to it, what has happened. In rest of the issues, most of the corruptions of the MLAs, etc., was not addressed. And I was practically restricted only to the Nizamabad parliamentary constituency. I mean, party as much in, they told me in strict words that it is protocol, you can't go behind Nizamabad. I said, but I was already always going around the state celebrating Batkama festival, uniting the women of Telangana. Why shouldn't I? So that was also a major flashpoint, and I was restricted. I made peace with it. I started working, and then second term, second election when I lost, I figured out that there was sabotage from inside, and that time also I took up the issues within the party. There was a review. There were certain reviews in public also mentioned the party's lackings, and just before the suspension, also I held a press conference in the party head office, and I said there are people conspiring against me. Party should let me out. That did not happen. They did not even try to reach out to me, brother is a working president, so KTR has not reached. In that sense, I have tried my bit. I tried my bit to hear the issues inside, outside, publicly. I have tried to stop certain things, taken like to notice of my father. But there was an apathy, and see issues like not being able to serve people who fought for Telangana. I could help them out within my conscience, but across the state I could not. And people who gave their life for the formation of the states. See, we ourselves said there are 1,200 kids who've committed suicide, and you helped only 540 families. So what happened to the rest of the families? No data, no nothing. For these two issues, I have publicly apologized when I came out of the party, when I was suspended from the party. I said these two issues across the state, I should have stressed more, I should have worked more. But rest of the issues I fought, I took it to Sir's notice, KCR's notice. When it suited him, he definitely acted upon them. When it did not suit the party, they didn't know, which is understandable. And I was always saying that.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask you are the part of the family that ran the state. If you, as the daughter of Mr. KCR couldn't bring attention to these issues, did anyone else have a chance?
See, politics is a different ball game altogether. Family, relations always come second because politics is always about situation and equation. So, in a particular situation, if it suits you to take action and the equation will come out in your favor, political parties tend to take action. Otherwise, they tend to ignore. That's with any party. Look at Congress, look at BJP. So many anomalies you see, so many cover-ups you see, so many compromises you see. So regional parties are no exemption, right? But as a person, as a duty, whatever, because I'm a soldier in BRS, so whatever came to my knowledge, I flagged it up, and it was basically above my pay grade to take any decision on that.
Fair. No, my question was in the sense because I remember the last 2 months of assembly.
I know what you're saying. If I could not take it to boss's notice, who could? That's how parties work, you know.
So this was the level of the wall that was built around the person trust the polls.
That's what I said. There are a lot of demons right under his seat.
Okay, I want to ask you about the Nizambas, see, because you did say that sabotage happened. But did you also reflect on what were your failures about what happened?
I did. Point one, I got more votes than the number of votes that I got in the previous election to begin with. And there was this entire very well designed nomination game. 186 people put nomination in my election. 24 EVMs were there. So the polling booth was practically the size of this room. And whoever went in, we requested time and again at that point of time to the district collector that please number the EVMs. So nobody knew which was number one EVM, which was 24. So the 24 EVMs, my name was in the first EVM. So 1 lakh votes just got split up in all the EVMs. There was a lot of confusion. That was the failure of the election commission and the collector at that point of the time. We time and again requested but never numbered. There was a lot of confusion. And then the party MLAs were actively trying to sabotage the election. That was a ground report. And many of the party workers also later shared these reports, not only with me, but with the party as well. In so many words, later KCR Garu also once told me, I figured out the MLAs did not work for you in your election. He's said it himself to me. So what were the action taken against the MLAs? Nothing. That was he complained all the time. I was also telling him that you cannot let these things be, not seen. You should take some action. Never happened.
Do you still think you can go back to the Nizambas?
Necessarily, see, when I'm about to launch my own political party, Nizamabad happens to be my hometown. हमारी ससुराल है तो if I go back or not go back is never a question. I am from there. I will go back there, and when I die also I'll be cremated there. So it is that kind of an attachment. So one political loss or one political development won't change my relationship.
I'm as politically. Are you?
Of course, we will go across the state, but contesting, not contesting, we'll decide later. But then we'll work everywhere.
A little bit about your past. You've spent 20 years, almost 20 years in BRS, first formally TRS. You built Telangana Jagruthi. If you have to say this was my contribution to TRS, not Telangana movement, not to TRS, what would it be?
One major contribution is to 2009 election of KCR Garu. He suddenly decided to contest from Mahbub Nagar, where party literally had 0 cadres. At that point of time, we were in alliance with the TDP and TRS, and TDP was very actively not supporting it, literally undercutting the votes from TRS. The alliance was not itself a very well-settled arrangement, and my father was contesting from a place where we had 0 strength. And I worked, slogged every minute to make sure our leader won from there. And if KCR had lost that election, it could have costed us the Telangana movement. I could very successfully raise up that argument and connected with so many people who were estranged from TRS at that point of time, convinced many of the TDP cadres also to help us out, etc. This was openly acknowledged by KCR Daru himself that if she wasn't there, we wouldn't have got this election. So that was very, very serious contribution from my side. If I had to pick one thing, what you have done for TLS, but when you believe your institution, your parties, your family, you do 1,000 things, and you know how women are. So if they ask you, they don't ask you. You keep working, you keep making contribution. So I've done that. As Jagruthi, certainly I realized that women's participation was very less in the Telangana movement. And taking inspiration from Bal Gangadhar Tilak, I started this festival Kathaka, which was always there. I only made sure that we got into stroking the sense of the pride in celebrating one's own indigenous festivals. And I made sure lakhs of women participated in the festival. And that actively idea was to make sure women come on board to the idea of separate Telangana. And it did work out very, very strongly in the favor of Telangana movement. I believe that is my biggest contribution to the movement and to the party, my vote in the election.
So you do have a very emotional, political, and personal attachment, right? You're with BRS. But you still say you're never going to go back to BRS.
Yes.
Why is it?
See, when there is extreme love, there is extreme detachment also, which counts. Because you were very unceremoniously removed from your party. At least they would have asked me for an explanation. Why did they even suspend me? There is no explanation whatsoever. Anti-party activity. What anti-party activity are we talking about? That was never explained. And see, you can't insult me in public and then try to pacify me personally, right? That won't work. So once you decided to suspend me from the party, my reaction will be equal and opposite. So that is what had happened. And why I say very strongly that I don't want to go to BRS is I've suffered enough in the last 20 years. One side now, won't work for too long.
So you're now speaking about touching your new party, guys. So setting aside BRS issues, but still, what is it that you want to do fundamentally different than BRS?
Well, I will certainly announce my agenda when I launch the party, but to give you a basic understanding, the motherboard of my new party will be Telangana. Once Telangana became a reality, BLS kind of lost back, and the very factor that we fought for, the identity of Telangana, let it be cultural or political or financial independence of Telangana, that was not the priority of TRS. And when it changed to BRS, nation became its motherboard, not Telangana anymore. So my party will be more state focused, completely word seeking, completely working on the restoring the Telangana identity and making sure that Telangana first will be the basic ideology of my party. Anything, jobs, culture, political identity, anything, it should be Telangana first. I'll give a recent example. Pawan Kalyan came to Telangana, Pawan Kalyan garu, and he inaugurated certain developmental works in Kondagattu temple. The logic behind that was that the money was given by Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. Why should a political personality from a different state come to Telangana and inaugurate? Where was the Telangana deputy CM? He was not sitting next to him. There was no protocol. Where was Telangana CM? Why will Andhra deputy CM come here and inaugurate it? The contribution to Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam is a lot more from Telangana region as well. If the TTD is giving us any funds to develop temples here, why should Andhra politician come and inaugurate it? It is your people's share as well. So this unseen, okay, both are Telugu states, now Telangana is formed, now we can come over, come back, claim back, whatever that friendship. This was the guys, and this is how Hyderabad state originally, which was the richest state in the world, richest country in the world, got merged into Andhra. So if you let go of those protective guards, whether it's cultural or it's notional or it's political, then you're slowly falling back in their trap, and that should not happen. We will stand for issues like that. We will make sure that we will fight for that. Now, Revant Reddy suddenly comes and the Honorable Chief Minister changes Telangana Tali overnight. Telangana Tali was something that you have seen during the moment she gave us strength, courage to fight in a certain way. You can't see your mother's image in something else, overnight. It can't be changed. So just because there was no gazette issued, he suddenly changed the Telangana Tali statue and nobody protested except Jagruthi. I'm like, what is BRS even doing? So they've lost track of that Telangana identity, etc. That will be our part.
Okay, I think we'll come towards the end of the interview because you're going to talk about party later, you said. So what is it that you as a person want from politics? Like, and I understand you're saying serving Telangana, serving the people of Telangana, which are honorable goals, but why do you want to be in politics as an individual?
I want to be remembered even after my death. That is the most selfish goal of me being in public. Point. I'm very straightforward about it because having your name remembered in a very fond and a good way after you die is how you know that you have served even to the best of your capacity. So my goal is to be remembered in a very, very fond and a loving way once I'm gone. To do that, I work very, very hard. I'll work in every aspect that was neglected in the state from the last 12 years. I work for the very, very neglected areas of the society. I mean, I will state all of this, but I can only say today what is lacking in politics is the sincerity. And people just, become visitors. For example, the latest issue of Mosi. I've seen many people go and come, okay, this apartment is going away, those lands are going away, but where is the end or where is the solution? So, solution driven politics is what I aim to bring to the state.
I hope to follow your political journey, which are kind of fancy speaking to us, doesn't it?